Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Tasneem. I'm the senior manager at 98 percentile in the HR department. And today we did a wonderful drive with XLR. It was amazing right from the very beginning, from the very first day when I got in touch with them till today. I think it was an extremely smooth journey with them. There were multiple follow-ups done by the representatives in order to check that we would be, what time we would be coming, how many people would be coming, what vehicle we would get. To that extent, they were so precise in giving all the information to us. It was extremely great to get associated with them and have a drive at XLR campus. So we are very, very happy that we got a chance to do this. Now, coming to the students, what XLR had, I think they were extremely enthusiastic. They were well prepared. They were aware of what they are coming for. I think there was some back-end preparation which they did that was commendable. They also were very confident and they were open to any kind of thing we were asking them to do. That was I think the best part. Now, I really hope we have a very, very fruitful association with each one of them and XLR in future. We are really looking forward to have many more drives like this.
Hi everyone, my name is Prachi Sharma and I'm the Senior Project Manager for IT Department at 90th percentile. So today we were here for this IT bootcamp, right, this technical drive and at XLR. So it was a great experience and I would feel that the students, they are the freshers, right, but it doesn't seem like that. So if I talk about their technical and cognitive ability, they all seems pretty good in that and that's what I felt. And I guess they have been taught pretty well at XLR, so that's how they have performed good in their aptitude and the technical tests. So I wish them all the best and it was a very great experience over here.
Hi, this is Patan, Technology Consulting Manager from 98th percentile. We visited XLR for the campus placement drive and it went very well today. Miss Ambika, Miss Pragati, everyone received us greatly here, and we had a lot of enjoyable time here. The students even had great experience with us. They were interactive, they had good aptitude, and all the technological skills they showed. I think they were all well, and we really appreciate their time that they spared to us, and I think we will be doing a great job. We are expecting a lot of people to be hired from them. Let's see. It was a great experience altogether.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
From entering into the cyber tower to exiting out of this tower, the XLR team has been received me with such a care and pleasure.
I am the part of this XLR since 4 months. From the third month itself, they have conducted the placement sessions from the third month itself, and this is the fourth month, and this is the 98th percentile is one of the placement drive I have attended so far, and attending to this drive is such a good experience for me. All the HRs and the team made us feel very comfortable and confident.
XLR helped me a lot, and I experienced a lot of things today. So I'm really hope to be placed in that company. I'm confident about that. Thank you.
This was my first association with XLR. I had got a call from Miss Shubha, and we fixed a drive here. Today when we came here, I was not expecting much, but the hospitality was too good. Staff is quite cooperative, and it's like a happy-go-lucky kind of a environment here when it comes to XLR people. When it comes to candidates, yeah, we have got few candidates, and they are all agreeing to all our terms and conditions, and I hope they join the organization and work for us, and I'm expecting long-term association with XLR people, with more recruitments or more collaborations with them.
XLR has been a good partner for us because we found some of the candidates were excellent, and we wanted people with good business experience, not only just the Java or whatever full stack development or whatever they were being trained on. They were also people with a good background knowledge, and whom we have really shortlisted, and we assume that they are going to make a good career in BusyBrains.
XLR arranged our placements for the BusyBrains company. I felt good. I hope that it will be positive for us and change our lives in IT sector. So thank you, XLR.
Hi, my name is Revant. I joined XLR's course of data analytics. While the course was going through, the faculty were very good. They were guiding us really well, and they were providing in-depth insights of the industry. We were taught the latest things, we were taught what the industry needs, and after that, post completion of my course, we were going through a live project where we were facing real-time scenarios, and we were encountering all those scenarios which we would be encountering in a job. We completed the project, and we got through a certification which stated that we got a data analytics certification from XLR, and after that we were placed in mock interviews, and they also gave us how the interviews are and how tough they are. The interviews were really good, and post completion of the mock interview they started placement drives. Today is my first placement drive in a company called Busy Brain. I really want to thank XLR for providing me this opportunity, and I'm really hoping to see much more opportunities in the future. Thank you, XLR.
When I came into XLR, the learning experience was very good. Today there was the interview session from Busy Brain's company. The interview session went extremely well. I got to learn many new things. Thank you, XLR.
My name is Almas. So I'm here to do a campus drive. I'm coming from a company called Dotline. I deal with HR and operations, and unexpectedly I got a call from Ashwin sir. So he was saying about XLR solutions and the way he approached us, saying that the candidates will be trained as per our requirements. So digital marketing was the immediate requirement. We have gone through the interview process. It was quite excited to see good number of talent pools in XLR. We could shortlist couple of them, and we have given some placements as well, even both for the full-time as well as internship. So overall our experience with XLR is nice, and we look forward for a long-term relationship with XLR and the excited team. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Rupesh, and I work with Dotline as a performance marketeer, and I've got about like 15 plus years of experience. So today I happen to come here for the placement drive. Rightfully matched few profiles based on the requirement that we had. I'm so happy that XLR did a great job in terms of getting the pool of talents out and training them, and lucky that we are here so that we got the right match and we were able to get it. And thank you so much.
Hi everyone. Uh, Good afternoon. Hope you all are doing great. So welcome back once again everyone to our final session. So it has been really a great journey. Like we have already completed a 28 hours of journey. So I think the leftover 2 hours we are going to cover today. And yeah, so welcome once again to our final session as part of the AI agents. So as I mentioned already yesterday as part of our agenda, we are going to cover today MCP, right? The MCP is going to play a very important role, and that is also something which is really, which is really in trend right now, or which is really latest AI agent like Crew AI, how we discussed, Crew AI, Llama Index, Bank Chain, okay, Lang Graph, and then right now we are learning MCP. These are all something which are very demand in market. They have a lot of significance available in the market. And glad thing is that we have learned all of them, and today we will also be dedicating our time for our apps. Okay, so that is going to be our topic. So as you know, first we are going to understand what exactly MCP is all about, right? And then later we will move on to some hands-on activity, and where I will give you all the chance to go ahead and even do it from your end. Okay, so that's how our entire schedule is going to look like for today. So let me go ahead and get started with our MCP concept as part of our today's discussion. So let me share my screen quickly to all of you. Okay, so as I mentioned, like we will be right now referring to MCP. Okay, that's what we are going to discuss right now. So when I say MCP here, MCP stands for model, context, right? It stands for your model, context, and protocol. Okay, these are the three important things we have to consider. So when we refer to MCP over here, right, that is your model, context, and then the protocol. Okay? So these are the three things which we are actually trying to refer to. So now we are going to learn in detail like how this MCP plays a very important. Let's take our journey further. Okay, so as part of the MCP here in this scenario, what we are going to discuss is like as you see the name, right? It says very clearly, one being the model, another one being the context being provided to it, and then the third one here being the protocol. So ideally, what exactly is this framework? I mean, how it is going to play an important role. See, when I say model, context, protocol, right? It is like you are giving a blueprint, right? It is like we are here providing a blueprint which is going to help all our AI agents, right? So whatever AI agents are there today, MCP will here act like a blueprint for all those AI agents so that they can work in a very smart as well as in the organized manner. Okay, so that they can be able to do some great things. So if you see here very clearly in this scenario, so MCP refers to a blueprint which your AI agents can be able to utilize it to make it go in a really smart and in an organized manner. Okay, so basically, what is MCP. That is now the understanding which we need to have. See, when I say model, right? Model means it is your AI brain. Okay, so model means AI model that is. So that is nothing but your AI brain. Okay, which actually helps us out in all the thinking process. So whatever thinking we really want to do, so that would be taken care by the model only. So within the model, you are going to have your AI brain, which will help you for all the thinking process. So imagine till date, whatever AI agents we created, we were always been able to use the API of the ChatGPT, which is coming from the OpenAI platform. Right, same here also. When you are referring to this model, here is where we are going to use our AI brain to think through the process and then take it further. Right, that's how the model is going to play a very important role, where you are going to have your like AI brain that will do all the thinking for us. That is your model here. And then later, you see that here there is a context associated with it. So now when I say context, context means what does the agent know so far? Okay, so that is the, let's say context, how it will work. I'll say you for an example, you came all of a sudden in the today's session. Now, if I get started with whatever topic I want, right, you will not understand what we covered previously. But if I revise the topic, right, then you will understand, okay, till now this is what has completed. Now I need to understand that the next thing is this is what we need to do. Okay, so that's what exactly does the agent know so far? It will be given in the context. And then finally, you have something called as the protocol over here. What is protocol? Protocol is nothing but you are mentioning the rules over here. Okay, like rules for what? Rules for like how agents can basically be able to talk or how they can be able to act. Those things we are going to mention it in the protocol. Okay. So you see that here there are three important things present. One being the model, context, the second one being the context, and the third one being here the protocol. So when I say model, it's all about your AI brain, which actually is responsible for all the thinking process. Then you have your context, which will ensure that your agent is going to know so far whatever has been done. So we can always give the context so that our AI can understand the things in a better manner and it can be able to respond to us. And then we also have our protocol, where we are going to define our rules, like how our agents can be able to talk and can be able to act to each other. Okay, that is protocol where we can define the rules and can be able to take it up further. That's how you can leverage that how agents can be able to talk and can proceed further. Why do we need this framework? Do we really need MCP as a framework? Why can't we be able to go and directly create our agents, right? Without following any such frameworks like MCP, and then we can do some great things, right? So maybe if that thought would definitely would have come into your mind, right? So without having any framework or without having anything, why can't we go ahead and create the things in whatever way we want? See, we can definitely do that. That's not a problem. But you know, AI can be extremely dangerous when we don't have anything to control it. So definitely you need some frameworks, some ethical guidelines so that we can handle the things appropriately. Okay, so right now, if you see, even let's say for an example, because of this MCP framework only today, your agents, whatever agents are there, those agents don't go off topic. Off topic means whatever you ask, it is only going to stick to it, but it will not allow to proceed further than that. Okay, they will not try to repeat the things. Okay, they don't actually repeat any things over here. Okay, so basically they don't try to repeat any things in the process. Okay, because of the framework. Okay, so they are always going to collaborate. If you have multiple agents, all those multiple agents can be able to collaborate to each other because of the MCP protocol. Okay, and then ultimately they are always going to stay focused on the goal, whatever goal it has to achieve. They are always going to stay focused on the goal. It is all because of the frameworks which we use. If you are using the right framework like MCP, it will always be able to help us out rather than deviating. So it will always say as a MCP, as a framework, as I am there. So you can always go ahead and work together collaboratively. You don't need to repeat the things again and again because you can store it in your memory. Yesterday, as I explained in the Crew AI. And then agents, they don't go off topic. When you use a framework like MCP, they collaborate to each other and they focus on the goal, whatever is needed. Okay, let's say for an example, say, let's say, four, imagine there are four. Okay, so each person has John, like let's say there is a John thinks creative. Priya thinks logically. Okay, there is a Sam who is good with numbers, and then there is Asha who is going to give the summaries. Like this is like AI models. Like each agent can have a specific thinking pattern, like a human beings, and they can be able to respond to us. Like how we as a human being, imagine if we are in the call and we are trying to plan a product launch, and all four of you are having four different skill sets. Like as I said, I took some random names, like let's say John, who is responsible for thinking creatively, Priya, who is responsible to think logically, right? There's a Sam who is really good with the numbers. And then there is Asha who is going to give summaries. So these are all like your AI models, which each agent can have a specific thinking pattern to do the things appropriately. Okay, that is what we call model, which is a brain. Then we have context. Context means what? Let's say for the product launch, whatever agenda and notes we are going to have, that is context, right? Everyone knows them before and only, like why they are in the meeting. They will know the timeline. They are going to know the customer need and the past discussions, whatever we have done. That is context, which is like a memory, which will be there stored so that you can get started from there rather than again you are getting starting from the first point. So that is what is a context here. So when we refer to the world of context here, right? So context in this scenario means like here is where we are going to understand that where everyone is going to know like why they are in the meeting. Okay, like as I said you, right? We are taking a meeting example. Let's say if I give you the agenda before and only. So you have the context. Okay, in this meeting, what are we going to discuss? What are all the different things which would be taken into consideration? So those things would definitely be available over there. Okay, that's what we here refer to as the context. And then comes the protocol. Protocol means what? The rules during the meeting. So the rules are, let's say if the person is speaking, then only one person should speak at a time. Okay, they should respond whenever they are being asked. And then they should send the action items at the end, like whatever has been done. This is what we call protocol, where you have the structured steps and communication. Finally, all these three things, when it falls into the picture, you will see that a productive meeting is coming out of it. Now imagine this meeting with AI agents instead of humans. If we bring the AI agents into the picture, right, then that will become a multi-agent system powered by MCP, which is your model, context, and protocol. So this is the beauty of having the MCP framework being available everywhere. Okay, the significance of having the MCP protocol here is to make sure that we are handling the things very proactively in this. Okay, so that's one of the core point which I just want to make it very clear to all of you here. Okay, so in this scenario, this is how it's going to play a very important role where you have your model, context, and protocol. Okay, then where that's going to act like a blueprint for all of us, like all of us in the sense, like for all our AI agents which we are trying to create, where it can work in a very smart and organized manner. As I said, your model is always your AI brain, which will be responsible for thinking. You have your context, which will help you to say that it will say that how much your agent is knowing so far. And then you have the protocol where you have the rules associated with it. Like it will let you know like how agents can be able to talk or act. Okay. So that's how we are making the MCP framework go in a right direction, where we see that the agents don't go off topic. They don't repeat the things again and again. They will keep responsible to collaborate and they will be focusing on the goal appropriately. Okay. That's the main thing which we are trying to think of. And I said, I've already given you one example. Okay. Like let's say in a meeting, how we can collaborate and see MCP can be helpful. As I said you, right? So in a meeting, whoever is joining, right, each person will have their own brains associated with them. Okay. That's what we call model, where the intelligence is going to come. Okay, so either it may be related to creativity, or either it may be related to logically, or either it may be related to numbers or summaries or whatever you have. These are all are the different capabilities which are going to come from model, because these are all are the parameters of the intelligence. Okay. Then after which you see that here in this scenario, we have the context present over here. Now, when I say context, context means in the meeting, it's about the agenda, like letting you know beforehand itself, like what is the plan, so that when you come into the meeting, you already know what we are going to discuss rather than being a surprising thing over there. Okay. So that's the main thing where we are going to set up the context in this case. And then we are also going to have here the protocol, right? So when I say protocol here, protocol means, as you all know, it's about the rules. As I said, whatever rules we are going to provide will be the protocol. Like as I said in the meeting, you can say that only one person can speak at a time. Okay, or whenever anything is asked to you, you have to respond to it, or you have to send the action items at the end. That's how your protocol is going to work like, okay, which is very structured, and then how we can be able to handle the communication rules. Okay, so this is another important thing which we need to be aware of. Okay, this is also another collaboration which we all should be here referred to. So which is your protocol, and then you see that all your structured steps and rules can be provided appropriately. Okay, so this is another important aspect where you have three important things, like one being your model, and then your context, and then the third one here being your protocol. Okay, so that's the core idea which we all here have to be aware of. Okay, so hope that this is giving you the clarity. That's how the MCP has come into the picture. Okay, model means that's your AI intelligence. Context means it's a knowledge base. Okay, that it can come from the like memory wherever it is stored, or it can come from the documents whatever you are providing. That's where the context will lie. And protocol, it's all about how you are communicating, what are the different rules we need to follow, so that our AI agents can communicate and cannot create any difficulties in the process. Okay, so that's the idea which we all should be aware when we refer to the MCP part. Okay, this is the introduction which I want to provide to all of you as part of the model context protocol, which every one of us should actually here be aware of. Okay, this is very important concept which is also in trend right now. Okay, along with the crew AI, this is something which is right now being in trending, and it is been taking up everything in a very clear way. Okay, so that's one of the capability which we all should here be discussing, or we should be all aware about. Okay, so this is what I just want to introduce to all of you as part of the model, context, and then the protocol. Okay, so and then I've given you one example also where you all can also be clear about, like when you see that there is MCP, where you see that here it's all about different meetings. Okay, and in a meeting example, I've taken MCP. I've given you the clarity that in a meeting how MCP can be taken as an example. Okay, so now I'll give you 2 to 3 minutes of time. Please take down the notes, or if there are any questions, feel free to let me know. I will be able to assist you. Okay, so please, it's very, very important for you all to take down this notes, because it's something which is really, really important, and it is in the trending thing. Okay, if there are any questions, put it in the chat. But meanwhile, I would request every one of you to please take down the notes for the same. Yeah, we just talked about the MCP, that is the model context protocol, where we have given the clarity that model will be like an AI intelligence, context will be like the giving some memory to the AI system, right? Where it can understand the things appropriately, like giving some knowledge or maybe some training or some document so that it can set up the context appropriately. And then we have the protocol. Protocol here will be the rules, right? What rules it needs to follow, how it needs to go ahead, what are all the different things it should consider, like all those important things will be taken up in protocol. Okay, that's the Okay, so hope you all are done with this part. Now let me take you to the next journey, like what we actually need to do or how we need to plan our second important part. So as you have already taken a note of this, as I said, right, always we need to remember here the most important point is, but let me make this person. So yeah. So right now, as I mentioned to all of you, so the important concepts here is like one would be here the model, okay, which is nothing but it's your brain of the agent, right? Today, if agent is able to go ahead and handle all the things in a very capable manner, that is all because of the model, okay, and model is giving that intelligence or the brain for the agent to work very smartly. Okay, this is called as the language model, where we are asking or where we are using to make any decisions or to generate any content or to answer any questions. It's playing a very, very important role here. Okay. So again, what can be the model? Model can be your GPT 3.5 or 4, which is being provided by OpenAI to us, or it can be Claude 4, right, which is being provided by the Anthropic company. You can take anything, okay, or it can be Gemini, okay, by the Google. So we can be able to take anything and we can use. So this can be the model where you see that there is it's like a brain of an agent, and then you have multiple like models which are available. Like here you see that GPT 3.5 or a 4, which is originated by OpenAI, or it can be the Claude 4 by Anthropic, or it can be Gemini by Google. So each one has their own strength and weakness for sure. It is up to us like which model we need to go ahead and use. Again, what the agent is going to do, that's totally up to our discretion, like how well we can be able to go ahead and handle it. Okay, that's how the model is actually going to work. Okay, so this is one of the interesting thing. And then, as I said, the second important component, like after the model is being done, right? The next important component here definitely is our context. So when I refer to the world of context, context, as I said, right, it is the information the agent is going to have before starting its task, like before it goes ahead and starts the task, right? Okay, before it starts the task. So it will have everything present with it. Okay, so that's your context where you see that as part of the context, right? It's going to let you know. So before it goes ahead and starts its task, it will let you know like what exactly here is a context. Like context will say to your agent, okay, or it is going to tell your agent like what it should do, okay, like what to do, okay, or let's say what it already actually knows, okay, or what has already been said. So all these things it will be able to get. Okay, that's your context. So without context, the agent is like someone who is being dropped in a meeting without even knowing what this meeting is all about. That's how, if you don't have the context, it's going to work. Okay, that's your context part. And then, as you know, the final part is nothing but our protocol. Okay, so protocol again, if you see, right, this is again like your rules. That's the main thing. It's like how you are going to provide the rules for your agents to do all your conversation and as well as the collaboration. Okay, so the like here what I'm trying to say is as part of the protocol, you can be able to take up certain rules, like where these rules will help us out for all the conversation and collaboration appropriate. So protocol will tell the agents like how they have to behave, how they need to talk to each other. All these things are taken care by the protocol. So imagine if there is no protocol, then agent may talk over each other. They may repeat the same tasks. They may miss their turn when the agent has to be responding. They will keep running continuously without stopping. All these things will happen. So when you bring in protocol, it is going to give really a great structure and flow. Okay. So when you bring in the protocol, right, your protocol is going to ensure that there is a like one that go to all three. That's another. And it can also be, like, it can also have more room in that. But it can also give something like that. So, and then you see the role based. It can be a lot of things. Like it can also plan. It can say to the AI coder, AI agent coder to code it. Right? That is protocol. Protocol means ensuring that the agents are having the proper rules so that they can be able to handle it effectively and they can be able to talk to each other without any difficulties or constraints. That's the core part we all have to understand. Okay. So when you talk about the rules, these are the major rules we need to focus upon. Okay. That's how it's going to play a very important role, is what I would just like to say to all of you. Okay, so when you say the common protocol types, okay, these are the most important protocol types we need to have. Okay. So yeah, this is what I just want to make it very clear, like where we see model, context, and protocol plays a very, very important role at the end of the day. Okay. So now what I will do is I'll give you some use cases or like the examples which can be worked upon using the MCP framework or the protocol, okay, or the MCP architecture. I'll just give you that clarity right now. Like what are the real use cases which we can be able to create from this MCP. So some of the like use cases where we can use is like, let's say, what can I say? Okay, let's say I'll say here recipe generator. Okay, you can have a recipe generator that is going to calculate the calories. Okay, so let's say you want an AI system that will generate a custom recipe for you based on your preferences, and then it will calculate the total calories based on the ingredients, whatever we have been opted for. So what it will do first in this example, it will choose the model. So model is your AI intelligence. So let's say I will take a GPT-4 AI model. Okay, and then you have the context, right? So the context is the user preference. As I said, right, user is going to prefer like whatever ingredients they want, that will become a context. Okay, like let's say you can prefer something like you are a vegetarian. I want to eat something which is under 500 calories and I need an Indian dish or a Mexican dish. Okay, or a European. So up to you, whatever you want to prefer, you can, that will be taken up as a context over here. And then finally, protocol. Protocol means what? That is rules. In the rules, it will say, okay, as the first step, what you need to do is generate the recipe. Okay, the step one for the agent to do is to generate the recipe for it. And then after that, you need to extract whatever ingredients are there, just extract that ingredients from the recipe. Okay, then do the calorie calculation. Then finally, do the calorie calculation and say how many calories are there. Okay, it just cannot go directly to the calorie calculation and say that, hey, this is the calorie you have to like you should be knowing about. It will not go like that. Okay, that's what I'm trying to let you all know, that this is like where it is going to ensure that it is following the systematic pattern. When I say protocol, protocol will set up the rules, and in the rules it's going to make it very clear that the very first step, okay, that the very first step is to ensure that you generate the recipe. Okay, then you go ahead and extract the ingredients, and then you are going to calculate the calories. Once these three steps are very clear, then we should be able to proceed further. Okay, that's how you are going to have your model, context, and protocol being presented. Okay, there's one such example. I'm just giving you the example so that you will be aware of it, like how we can be able to take it. Okay, now let's say we already worked upon our, like, let's say resume reviewer and all, right? So let's take that into consideration here. Let's say here, this is like we have resume reviewer based on the job description. So if you see here, now here in this case, we want an AI agent where it can read a resume, it should compare it with the job description, and it should give us a score or a feedback. So here how it works, again same, you are going to have your model, which is going to be our chat GPT. Okay, and then you are going to have the context here available. So context is what? Obviously your resume, and then whatever the job description we are looking for. Okay, that's another. That's our context. And then we are going to have our protocol, right? So protocol is what? So your protocol is to first, you need to analyze your resume, right? You first need to analyze the resume. After analyzing the resume, the second step is to match the skills. And then finally, it will generate the score and whatever advice is needed. Okay. That's how it plays an important role. As part of in this case, right, we have the model and then the context as well as the protocol. Okay. So that's how whenever any case study is being provided. Okay. So whenever we are going to refer to the case study, this is how you always need to understand like what can be the model. Okay, and then the going to guide all the AI agents to go in a right direction without creating any difficulties or challenges associated. Okay. So that's the most important thing which I would just like to say to all of. Okay. So yeah, perfect. This is another important thing I just want to let you know. Like this, you can take any example. I mean, what I'm trying to let you know is you should be knowing that if any example is being provided to you, you should be in a position to understand like what is the model I need to take, what's the context I need to set it up, and then finally the protocol. So when you know these three things, right, you can be able to go ahead and can cover multiple use cases which are being present. Okay. Whatever multiple use cases are there, we can be able to go ahead and can handle it appropriately without any challenges or difficulties. Okay. So that's the main idea. I just want to make it very clear to all of you. Okay. So now, before we enter into the hands-on activity, before I take you all to the hands-on activity, right? So are there any questions on MCP based on the use cases, whatever we have discussed right now? And as well as based on whatever we were being able to discuss in the previous step, like which is about the giving the clarity about how model, context, and protocol works, and then right now the use cases. So any questions before we move on and then try to work on case studies and then try to do the hands-on activity associated with it? Let me see the chat. Like what are all the different questions which you have in your mind? Yeah, I already explained the well. It will all be recorded also, right? You can revise it one more time. Okay. Already I explained number of times the same thing, right? Model, context, protocol. So model, as I said, will always be your AI intelligence. Context is always your memory. Whatever details you give, your AI model will try to understand that. Finally, the protocol. Protocol are the rules where it will say, so first agent what it has to do, second agent what it has to do, third agent what it has to do, how sequentially you have to run one by one. All of those things will be mentioned here. That's the model, context, and protocol frame. The context is available for the interaction session. No, no, no. Context will always be there for lifetime. It is not going to break at all. Okay, it is like even though you stop the session, it will not forget until you kill your session. That means until you go ahead and stop your entire AI agent, you deleted it. Then your context will go. But as long as you stop, okay, so it will be able to go ahead and you will see that there are a lot of things which are being associated with it. Okay, but when you stop a session or when you just restart it, it is not going to make sure that your context is going away from it. Your context will always stay as long as you don't delete your AI agent altogether. Okay, so that's the clarity I want to provide it here. Okay, hope that sounds good. Yeah, it is almost the same. Like whatever we discussed in the same lines only, it's going to stick with the web. Okay, model, context, and photo. Okay. Any other questions from anybody with regards to whatever we discussed as part of the MCP? Everybody. Excellent. So let's now discuss about the problem statement, what we are going to solve it practically. So let's deep dive and understand it. First of all, I'll explain to you what is the problem statement we are going to solve using the MCP framework. And then later we will move on to the hands-on activity and we'll see that how it's going to play an important. Okay, so let me go ahead. So if you see here, the problem statement which we are going to work upon right now is we want to build an AI powered, right? We want to build an AI powered travel itinerary. Okay, let's build an AI powered travel itinerary where we don't need to depend on any travel planners. Okay, so we can develop an AI powered travel itinerary planner using what? Obviously, as we are discussing MCP. So using the MCP framework, we want to develop. Okay, so this is our case study which we are going to work upon. Like where you see here very clearly, in this scenario, I would say like your AI powered travel itinerary planner is what we are focusing upon using the MCP framework. Okay, that's how it's going to play an important role. So right now, if you see the objective of what we are going to achieve, this is like building an AI powered travel assistant. Okay, that will help us out to generate a personalized. Okay, it should create ideally a personalized 1 day itinerary for us. Okay, so I need a personalized only 1 day itinerary. I don't want like 5 or 10 days. For a tourist who is visiting to any city, let's say I would put that I'm traveling to Kerala. Okay, so the assistant should understand, the AI assistant should be in a position to understand the user's preference. Like either you are preferred, let's say if you travel to Kerala, what is your preference? Is it food, nature, culture? What is it exactly? So you then it will be able to provide you the customized suggestions using the MC. Using the model context protocol framework, it will be able to go ahead and answer it. Okay. So that's the point we need to understand. So here the objective is to ensure that, right? So you have to create a, like let's say AI powered travel assistant where it is going to help us out to create really a personalized one-day itinerary. Okay, like for a tourist who is visiting to any city in India, and then the AI assistant should understand whatever is our preference, like either that it may be the food or a nature or a culture, and then it will help us out, to provide some customized travel suggestions using the MCP framework, so that we can be able to handle the things more proactively. Okay, so that's the main idea over here, which I could say. So what is that we are going to do here? So we are going to ensure, like again, user input, where we are going to provide like what is the place we want to visit, and then we will use the model, that is GPT-4, where it will help us out to suggest the better places to visit. It will recommend whatever the best places based out of whatever we are going to provide as an input, and then we will have the MCP structure present here. So how the MCP structure will play here in our problem statement, that is AI powered travel itinerary planner using MCP framework, right? However, MCP is going to stick, or how is it going to play an important role? So if you see here, the model, whatever we are going to use, will definitely be the OpenAI GPT-4. Okay, and then we are going to have the context here, and the context here is going to be like whatever user city, whatever the user is going to provide the city, right? It will take that into consideration. Now that will be a context, and then we'll try to respond to it appropriately. Okay, and then we have the protocol. So what is the protocol here? Protocol is you have to guide your model with a structured instructions. Okay, like for generating, like it should be able to go ahead and generate as the consistent and relevant data. Okay, it should be able to provide us the relevant data rather than deviating. Okay, so that's how it's going to play an important role, like where you see that here we have the model being present, like where GPT-4 will play an important role in this scenario, and then we are going to have the context also present, where the context is going to be the like the city. Okay, and then whatever the user is going to provide the city, that's going to be our context, and then we have the protocol. So where your protocol is going to be like where we are going to guide the model appropriately. Okay, where it can only give us the relevant data rather than deviating from the response and giving us some irrelevant data. We don't want that. So protocol will take care of it. So this is what we are going to build and ensure that it is playing a very important role. So that's what we are going to discuss right now. Now I'm going to take you to the hands-on activity so that it will give you a better idea of what we are trying to achieve at the end of the day. Okay, so let me go ahead and then try to give you that understanding. Okay, so as you understood the problem statement, so let's go into the Google Colab. Okay, let me reconnect it once again. So if you see here, right, very clearly, this is our entire program with which we actually need to proceed further. So if you see very clearly, in this scenario, we are actually importing our OpenAI, and then we are importing the OS. Okay, so OpenAI means, as you know, this is your official Python library. Okay, where you can access your GPT-4 easily. And then your OS as an like again, this is going to make sure that our system environment is aligned appropriately based on whatever API key we are using. Okay, so whenever you want to hide your API key, or when you want to use your API key in a secure manner, you can always import your OS, and OpenAI is always needed because that's where we are trying to access our GPT-4 model. And before this, I would request that you also need to run this. Okay, so until you don't install the OpenAI, it will not run successfully. So let me try to have that step here. Okay, so this is very important. Like first step is you need to install your OpenAI, or if you already have the OpenAI present, you can upgrade your OpenAI from here. Then from there, you can import your OpenAI and your OS without any difficulties. After which, you know that definitely we need the credentials. without credentials. That is, you are not allowed to enter into any of your models. So definitely I need here the API key, which will authenticate me and will give me the pass to enter into my GPT-4 or any GPT model by OpenAI, which is being hosted. If I really want to get access to it, I need to provide the API key. Once the API key is authenticated successfully, then only I will be allowed to proceed further. If not, I will not be given the chance to go ahead. Okay. So that's where your API key plays an important role. And then you also have your, like again, here is where we are going to give input. Okay. You see that? For an example, here you have two inputs which we can provide. Like one is the user city. User city means you are going to provide like in which city you are going to visit. So it says, it comes up with the question, enter the city in Kerala you are visiting. That means we fix this as a Kerala. So within the Kerala, what city you want to travel. Okay, you can provide it. Let's say if you are not fond of Kerala, you can provide any other place over here. Enter the city in so and so place in India or in world which you are visiting. So this will come up as a question where you as a user need to provide the input, like what city you are going to travel. Okay, and then the preference. After you provide the place, right? After you go ahead and then try to provide your place, then it will ask you, like, what is your preference? Like, if you are going to that city, do you prefer food, nature, or culture, or any other aspects? So that I can go ahead, prepare the itinerary based on whatever is your preference, so that you can enjoy and can be able to utilize the day effectively. Okay, that's how you can provide the user city and the user preferences, where you can provide two inputs, and then from there it will be able to take it up further. Okay, so those are the two important things which are needed over there. Okay, like you can just say, like for an example, if somebody is asking like what are your preferences, so you can just say like, hey, I like waterfalls or a traditional food or maybe a cultural dance. So that becomes the context. So here, what is the context? The context is whatever you are providing, the city what you are providing, and whatever is the preference, that is your context. Okay, model anyhow we have chosen here, right? So model here is, if you see the API key which we are using is related to ChatGPT. This is the context. Now here is where we are giving the protocol. You see here, this is the protocol where we are saying very clearly how it has to work upon. Okay, so right now if you see in the protocol, I'm making it very clear that this part is going to tell to your GPT or whatever AI model you are using. Okay, this will say behave like a like an expert. Okay, who is an AI travel guide for Kerala. So it says behave like a Kerala travel expert. Okay, and then that means you're setting the role for the AI assistant over here. And then we are saying that, hey, your job is to plan a one-day itinerary based on whatever the user is going to prefer. So that's the point here. Then this is your actual question. If you see the role user, this is where your actual question will be asked to the AI. Okay, to the AI agent, this is where you're going to ask your question. Now here it will include the values, whatever you want, like your city and preferences, whatever you are going to add, that will be added here dynamically. It's like what is your preference and what are you visiting will be added here dynamically. And then we are going to say here to give me a one-day plan. Okay, so here is where we are going to give a one-day plan, like where it should be able to let us know, like what are all the important locations it can visit. So together, whatever the messages we have added here from here to here, okay, whatever messages we have added here, this will play like a protocol or like a communication layer where it will interact with your GPT-4, and then it is going to define the entire conversation protocol in a easier. Okay, so that's the idea we need to all have. So this is where we are giving the protocol, like where we are making it in this scenario very clear that, hey, this is what we needed. Like here is where our role is there. Okay, this is our role, and then this is our content. And then again, here we have the role. So we are making it very clear that, hey, the moment the AI agent is going to react, it should be in such a way that you should act like an expert AI travel guide for the Kerala. Your job is to plan for one-day itinerary based on whatever user is preferring. Now, from where will it get whatever user is preferring to here? So whatever user preferences and user city will be added accordingly, you go ahead and develop the plan at top. Okay, so that's the idea which we all should be able to have here when we want to take this further. Okay, and then now here comes the model. These are your model details, simple. Right? These are your model details, like where you're just ensuring that the model details are being provided appropriately. So this line, if you see, right, this is going to send the request to the GPT-4, where you have the model as a GPT-4 and we will wait for a response. So that's what we are referring to here as a model. And messages is the conversation which we have created here. This is the protocol, whatever we are providing. So those we are taking up, and the temperature you can take either 0.5 to 1, whatever value you want. Okay, so that's how you can take the temperature. So this is your model. Okay, this is the model which has been there in the MCP framework. Okay, so GPT-4 will act like a model over here. You see that in this scenario, we have already given the context. Context is part of the user input, like the city, whatever they want to visit within Kerala and their preferences. Okay, protocol here is the message, whatever we are providing in the form of communication or how it should act. We are providing those rules here in the form of a prompt. And then you see that here is where your model is available, where you see there is a model available, and then your message, and finally the temperature. Okay, that's how it's going to play an important role over here. Okay, and then finally you are going to display the output over here, where you see that GPT-4 will send back its reply as a list of choices, right? It will now GPT-4 model, whatever we are using, it will give us a list of choices. Now among them, whatever the first choice which have been taken up, so we are going to pick the first one over here. That is the reason you see index is 0. So it will extract the actual text response which is being given as the first response, and then it will get stored in a variable called as itinerary. So that we are going to print here. So it will print with a statement saying your 1-day Kerala itinerary, and then it will print you the whatever the result which the GPT-4 was being able to extract. Okay, and the very first response, that's the reason you see 0 here. Index is 0 means even though it may give you 5 responses, but only first response will be considered and it will be given as an output for all of us. Okay, and when you go and run this program, it will first ask you like, hey, enter the city in Kerala which you are visiting. So I kept Munnar, and then it will ask you what are your preferences. So I'm just going to put, hey, my preference is nature. So it says that, okay, sure, let's go ahead. So first morning you can start your day with a visit to the Erviculam National Park. Okay, and then you can view the biodiversity of very high elevation, because I said my preference is nature. Okay, and you can also see the Nilgiri tar, an endangered species of mountain goat. Okay, like all this. The park opens at 7:30 a.m. And then you see there is a dam. Okay, Mattupetti Dam, it's there. So that is also another one. And then for lunch, you can try the local dish like puttu and kadala curry. Okay, and then again evening you can visit the tea museum, and then cultural activity. There's a Kathakali performance. So you see that, I mean, it's just giving all the related information which you need to do for a day, whatever city you are trying to visit. Okay, with the proper rules which are being aligned over here. This is the beauty of having the model context protocol being defined appropriately, so that it will take the responsibility to give you the related answers rather than deviating and then just giving any random information. Okay, so that's how this plays a very, very important role for us to see the details appropriately. Okay, so that's something which we all should here be aware about, and knowing like what exactly is happening in this scenario. Okay, I mean, that's the main idea which we all here should be aware of. Okay, so that's the point which I just want to make it very clear to all of you. So, and again, I'm just going to go ahead and give you one more time the clarity, and after which I'll give you the chance to do the things. So first, install the OpenAI, because without OpenAI, we're not going to do anything. So let's import the OpenAI and OS, which will be responsible for our API key. Then you provide your OpenAI API key, whatever API key is required, that API key can be provided over here very clearly. So the moment you provide the API key, which will allow you to authenticate and then try to move ahead to your ChatGPT model, right? So definitely you can provide your API key in this scenario. Okay. And then later you see that here there are two instances like where you can provide your user city and as well as your user preferences. Right, as a user city you can provide like which city you want to visit in Kerala and then what are your preference. Okay, and then here is where we are providing the protocol by adding the messages, like where you see that there is a role available and then there is a content available here, like how you should be able to act. So that's something which we have mentioned here very clearly. Okay, and then later if you see here very clearly, this is where we can call the GPT-4 model. Right, so we are providing the model name, the messages, that is nothing but the protocol, and the temperature, which is ranging from 0.5 to 1. So you can have randomness over there. Somebody is on. Okay, perfect. Okay, so right now if you see here, okay. So right now, if you see here, in this case, what is happening is you have the model, the message, and then the temperature. Okay. And finally, here is where your output will be provided. Okay. The first response of the output will be taken up, which is being provided by the GPT-4 model. It will print saying that your 1-day Kerala itinerary, and it will, whatever the result is going to be printed, right, that will be stored here in the itinerary. So whatever itinerary is present here, within that itinerary, you are going to see that your data will be stored ultimately. Okay, so that's the clarity we all need to be aware about. Okay, so whatever itinerary is present here, we can be able to print that itinerary and we can store those results over here in a very clear manner. Okay, so that's your idea, which we all should be here aware about, and then further take it into consideration. Okay, so hope that this is clear to all of you. So this is the understanding which we all should here be aware of. Okay, so now once you run this, it will be able to ask you like what is the city you want to visit and what are your preferences. You can provide it here, and then it will give you all the 1-day Kerala itinerary. Okay, and again remember one thing, I took Kerala, you can take any city here, you just need to change it here. And then the same time, whatever preference you want, you can be able to provide it accordingly. Your AI agent will follow the NCP framework and will try to give you the relevant answers associated. Okay, so that's the clarity which every one of you should ideally here be aware of. Okay, so now I'm going to share this code to all of you. Give me 1 minute so that I can be able to share it in the same document, which is about the line chain, so that we can have all the code being present at one single place. So give me a minute. Let me share it very quickly to all of you. Okay, I just have shared the document. Let me send it off to everyone. No, without API, it will not run, because without API, there is no model, right? Without model Chintan, it will not work. So model is coming through API only. Or API is like an authentication, like how our password plays an important role. So without that, it will not work. Okay. So definitely either we need to get that free access, which I already explained, right, as part of the OpenAI platform. Either you get that like using the Gmail account for free of cost, you'll be getting it. If not, you need to have the API key for sure to proceed for, because that's where the model will come. And I've shared the document everyone in the main chat. You see that there is a main chat. Within the main chat, I have added the line chain. So in that, you will see in that document at the bottom, right? If I can just show you here, see, I come to the extreme bottom, and in the extreme bottom, I have given you the entire code for the MCP framework, where you have an AI expert guide who can prepare the 1 day itinerary for you based on the city, whatever you are traveling within Kerala. If you provide it, it will be able to go ahead and can generate the response appropriately to us. Okay. So yeah, I've just mentioned it. Okay, I've just mentioned the code in the document, and I'll be giving you 10 minutes of time to please go ahead, complete and execute this code from your end. Check the output and do let me know. You need an API key. You know, from the OpenAI platform, you can fetch the API key from there, and then you can add it and can be able to play around with it. Okay, and then you can get the responses. So before you get the response, you have to ensure that you are providing the, let's say, what city you are visiting in Kerala, what are your preferences you need to provide. Then your AI agent will prepare the plan like this and it will give you the responses. Okay. So that's the clarity which I want to provide to all of you. So now I'm going to give you all 10 minutes of time to go ahead and complete this code. After that, I'm going to show you another hands-on activity related to the MCP part. Okay. So please do complete this and then I will be taking you to the next part. I'll give you 10 minutes. Your time starts now, everyone. Please go ahead and complete it quickly. Then we will move on to the next hands-on activity related to it. Please complete and do let me know. Just acknowledge it in the chat so that I'll be aware about it. Siddiqui done. Good job. Excellent. Can we use them? Sorry. Let's say yeah, you can also do for all. You can also be able to do it for all the reasoning questions also. That's not a problem. For any type of reasoning questions also, if you have, you can be able to use the MCP frame. That's not the problem at all. Okay. It's something like it's my variable name. You see that here? This is my variable name. You can name variable name as whatever you. Okay. I can say XYZ also. Let's say if I remove this and I can say XYZ. But whatever messages you see here, this is the protocol. Okay. This is the protocol, whatever we are defining. I'm saying that please follow the protocol to my model. So I'm saying to my model, whatever protocol I defined as a messages, right, that should be followed over. Okay. So I'm just putting the same name here. That's it. Okay, that's the idea behind it. Got it? Okay. Perfect. Nice. Okay, Deepa done. Good job. Keep it up. Excellent. So I'm waiting for others also. Please complete it, everybody. I'll give you 2 minutes of time. After that, I will take you all to the next activity, which we all need to do. Okay. Hope you all are done with this. So now let's proceed further. Okay. So let me go ahead. First from day one. Okay, just a minute. Let me share it again to you. That. Okay, yeah. So let's now go back to the last code for the today. Okay, so now I'm going to explain to you the problem statement of what we are actually trying to solve here, so that it can give you some better clarity, and then we can proceed further with the coding. Okay. So that's what we are going to plan. So we have right now developed using MCP framework. We were able to come up with a plan where we have created our AI travel agent, which was able to go ahead and give us 1 day item. Right. So that's what we were been able to develop right now. So now I'm going to create another problem statement for all of you, which we will be able to go through right now. Okay, so that will be more related to, I think I'm thinking of planning it related to healthcare, so that it can give us some better clarity of how we can handle the things. Okay, so let me go to the whiteboard and give you that explanation first, like what we are trying to solve, and then we will immediately move on to the hands-on activity. Okay, so right now, what we are going to solve here is, so the problem statement is to ensure that as an AI therapist, right? As an AI therapist, okay, so we are going to support the human beings, okay? So we are creating an AI therapist support agent, which will help the human beings. Like we are building an AI powered emotional support chatbot where it will respond to the users, right? Whatever is their current mood, they can be able to provide it, okay? And then you will have your suggestions being given by the AI therapist, okay, where it will use the MCP framework, that is your model context protocol framework, to structure that how it is going to think, what it knows, and how it is going to respond. So all of these things will be taken care by the MCP framework, and MCP will be able to go ahead and answer to us at the end of it. Okay. So that is a clarity which I just want to provide here. So we are going to build a AI therapist support where we are going to have our MCP framework being present. Okay. So using this MCP, that is our model context protocol framework, we are going to structure it appropriately, and then we will see that how it is going to think or what it knows and how it can be able to respond. So it will be able to take everything into consideration and will give us the better response at the end of it. Okay, so let's go and see that how we can be able to develop the same. Okay, so now as you all have got the clarity on the problem statement, so now I will take the responsibility to help you out that how it is going to work practically. So same things more or less, if you see here, we are going to first install the OpenAI because that is the framework or that's the model which we are going to use. So definitely we need here OpenAI, and as I said, we need to import your OpenAI and OS because those are very much needed for us to use the API credentials appropriately. So OpenAI is a platform which we need to import, and OS is like a library in the Python which will be required for all the environment settings. For all the environment settings, we need OS to be present, and then we need the API key. So here API key would play an important role where you are going to have your credentials available. Okay. So whatever credentials are there, all those credentials are being taken care by the API key. Okay. And then you can put your input here. You see that this is the input where user will be able to provide their input, like how they are actually trying to feel, whether they are like they can provide, the user can provide the input, whether they are stressed, whether they are anxious, whether they are unmotivated, like they can be able to go ahead and provide that information. Okay. So as a user, you can provide your input, like how are you exactly feeling? So it will be able to convey that message, like whether we are stressed or anxious or unmotivated, whatever it may be, it should be able to go ahead and then try to respond. Okay. I mean, this is more or less will act like a context to your MCP. Okay, like whatever you are providing here as a response will be taken as a context by our MCP framework, and it will try to like derive the answer from there. Okay. And then here is where you see the protocol available. So this is your protocol where you see that we are creating a conversation with the AI. So where we have our system available. So here in this case, you see the role is system. And then the content here is like you are being saying that, hey, you are a kind and empathetic AI therapist. Okay, your goal is to make sure that you making the users feel emotionally supported with all affirmations and self-care tips. And then as a user, whatever feeling you are providing, you will add that as a user input, which will come here dynamically. And then you can see that based on whatever you are feeling. Okay, so you will see that the responses will be given by the AI therapist agent. Okay, this is the protocol. So in the protocol, we are making it very clear that what is the role and what it has to do. Like we are conveying that in the form of a prompt over here. Okay, so you see role is being defined, and then in the content also we are making it very clear that what it should ideally be able to do so that it can help us out. That's how we are giving the prompt here as a content. Okay, and then here is where we are defining the model here very clearly. Okay, so this is the model. Okay, where we are saying that we want to talk to GPT-4, the model. Okay, and then here the message is nothing but whatever protocol we are defining here. Okay, so whatever protocol we are been defining here, that will be added here to the model. And then the temperature, you can take 0.5 to 1, whatever value you want, you can take. I have been able to take here as 0.8 in this case. Okay, then again the same things among the responses, whatever the GPT-4 is going to generate, the one among them which is the best one and the first one will be picked up here. And then it will print the statement saying your AI therapist says, and then whatever message or whatever the response we are going to get, that will be stored within the support message. Okay, that's going to be stored ultimately in the support message. Okay, so whatever that support message you see here, right? Whatever that support message we are able to go ahead and see. And that support message here is nothing but it's all about, let's say, here is where you are going to store whatever the output it is going to generate. That's it. So same as like previous program only, whatever we discussed. But the difference here is we are taking a different case study. But otherwise, in terms of programmatically, it's exactly the same thing. Only thing here and there, we are trying to add some customizations because right now, whatever the problem statement we are trying to work upon is the AI therapist. Okay, as an agent. So if you see here, we have installed the OpenAI. We have imported the OpenAI and OS here, which will be important for the environment settings and API key. Then we define the API key as a credential, which will allow us to enter into the GPT account. Then as a user, you are going to provide your input. This will act like a context for your MCP. And then here is where you are providing your protocol in the form of messages, where you are giving the messages very clearly that what is that we need to do over here. And then here is where we are defining the model, where within the model you are defining like what is the model you want to use, what is the protocol you want to follow in the form of messages and temperature 0.5 to 1, which will give you the better answers rather than having less random or more random. Okay, it will be ideal. And then finally, you are going to see here that it will give you from the list of responses, you are going to get the best response. And then it will also print the statement saying that your AI therapist says. And then finally, it will print you the final message, whatever is there. Okay, that's how it's going to play a very important role where you can just execute and run it. Okay, the moment you go ahead, execute and then run here, right? You will see that, okay, at the bottom, if you see, it will give you the response like this. Okay, your AI therapist says, first of all, you have to see when you run it, it will say, how are you feeling right? So I said, I'm feeling stressed. Or you can give anything else. Not only from here, stressed, anxious, and unmotivated. You can give any response. You're feeling down or you're feeling tired. Even you can give even them also. Okay, it's not only between these three. You can choose the best and then you can be able to add it here. And then it will say your AI therapist says, hey, I'm really sorry that you're feeling this way, but I'm unable to provide the help that you need. But definitely it's really important to talk things over with someone who can, though such as a mental health professional or a trusted person in your life. So let's say it says that if anybody who is a trusted person in your life, go share with them so that your stress can be relieved, is what your AI therapist as an agent is trying to say to us. Okay, so I will also share this quote to everyone, same as like the previous one only. Okay, but the only thing is here we have taken a different case study like an AI therapist, like where we have the context, model, context, and protocol being aligned over here. Okay, so let me share this quote to all of you. Give me 1 minute. I'll put it at the bottom and will again share this code so that you all can also be able to practice the same. Let me quickly share this to all. Send it over to all of you. Okay, I just have sent it in the time. So I would request you to please utilize it. Whatever in the main chat I have been able to share, that's where you see there is a code available. Okay, whatever code we have discussed upon, it is been there at the extreme end. So please use that code and proceed further. Okay, I'll give you 5 to 6 minutes of time. Please complete. I'm giving less time because it is more or less like however we worked as a previous code. But the only difference here is we are making this work in a new case study, that is AI therapist. The previous one was the AI travel agent, which prepared the itinerary for 1 day. This is an AI therapist based on the feeling, whatever you're feeling right currently, it will give you the guidelines to follow and talk. Okay, please go ahead, utilize this. Okay, utilize this code, complete, and then let me know in the chat once you're done with it. Okay, I'll give you 5 to 6 minutes of time to complete this activity, everybody. Right? I hope all of you all are done with this. So let me see what are they. Yeah, any type of a problem can be done using the MCP framework. Okay. Even matrix multiplication, any type of modeling you take, right? Everything can be done through MCP framework. Because in your model context protocol, right, MCP, model plays a very important role to handle the things. That is the reason you can take any complex algorithms or any complex calculations you can take and it will be able to help you out there. Okay. And then the people who are interested create your own API key. So what you need to do here is you just need to simply go to this OpenAI. Okay. So you can just say here OpenAI platform. So within your OpenAI platform, here the moment you click on your OpenAI platform, right? The moment you log into your respective OpenAI platform, so here you see that you will be given the chance. So you have to click on the dashboard. You just need to click on the dashboard here. And if you're logging for the first time and if your Gmail account is new, you have to come to the usage here. In the usage, you will be getting $5 approximately here. Okay. So it's loading in my case, but otherwise you'll see $5 over here. Okay. So in my case, I don't have any balance because I already used, but in your case, you can see $5. Underneath the usage, you will have API keys where you can click on your API keys button. And then here is where you have an option, right? If you see, there is an option to create a new secret key. Just click on create a new secret key, provide whatever the key name you want, and then say create the secret key. Let's say I will say here sample and then say create the secret key and you will see that the key is present here. You have to copy the key from here. Just copy, save it in your notepad because it will be visible only once. You can save it and can store it in your document and click on the done button. That's it. Okay, that's how it plays an important. This is how you can create your API key. Thank you. So this is done. And then to purchase API key here only in your platform.openai.com. This is the place. You have to go to the usage. Okay. So you have to go to the usage over here and then it will give you the option for you to purchase or increase the plan. Okay. So in the same platform here, Chitta. Here itself you can be able to purchase. Like you have a upgrade button, you can upgrade it from there. Okay. Thank you, Siddiqui. Here all done. Okay, perfect. Yeah, no, you have multiple platforms, right, Chintan? OpenAI platform is one. You can purchase even from the Cloud also, or you can purchase even from the Copilot, right? So you can purchase from anybody. That's up to you. See, you have the Cloud API keys also. From there also you can get the API key. So wherever we want, we can purchase it. That's it. Okay. So yeah, that's it for our entire session, everyone. So we have covered really some great and interesting things. So we completed our entire 30 hours of journey. And I would really like to thank each and every one of you who have been made it up till this point of time. Because not everyone can make it up to 30 hours, but you all were been able to make it up. So kudos to all of you. And you can give us a big pat on your back saying that you have really done a great job. So congratulations for entering into the world of AI agents. And I hope you all were been able to learn a lot of great things. Now, just one thing I would suggest is keep practicing, keep learning all the new things which are happening in the world of AI so that you can be well equipped. You can be able to understand how things are moving so that you can also be able to maintain the pace. Okay. In the world of AI. So, okay. With this, I wrap up the session with entirely the AI agents, whatever we started the 30 hours of journey. So we are done with it. And I would I would wish everyone all the best for your future endeavors. Okay, just keep exploring, keep doing some great things like this, keep learning so that you can upskill yourself and can also make your students also go in a right direction to learn these AI agents in a better manner. Okay, thank you once again, everyone. And over to you, Shushmita. Thank you for facilitating.
Thank you so much, Prasan sir. So, dear faculty members, I would like to just share some information about the certification. So, those who attended 60 and more than 60% of the session, they will be receiving their certificate via registered mail ID within 10 to 15 working days. Thank you so much, all of you, for making this program successful. Thank you so much, Prashant sir, for being here with us from last 15 days.